If you've ever found yourself finishing a run and you're feeling awesome, even epic, and then ruining it by looking at your data, like looking at your watch and looking what it says, like why was my heart rate 10 beats higher than it was last week? Well, then this video is for you. You see, I used to track everything: pace, cadence, vertical oscillation. Like, what the heck does that even mean? I know what it means. But sleep scores, recovery time, until running started to feel like, I don't know, like a math exam, like algebra. I mean, really? Isn't it just about running? So I simplified it. I now use just 4 simple metrics to measure my progress and keep my heart rate training stress-free. And ironically, that's when I started improving the most. That's when I started to run faster. These 4 things made a huge difference to me. I'm going to share them with you today. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 4 numbers that I used to track my progress. No spreadsheets. Did I say no spreadsheets? I can't even say it. Spreadsheets. No stress. Look, whether you're training for a marathon, a 10K, to lose weight, or you just want to feel fitter, look, these 4 that I will tell you, they will tell you everything that you need to know about whether or not you are improving or not. So let's start with the first one, and it's a single best indicator for aerobic progress I've found as a recreational runner. And that metric's for my Maffetone pace. But before we get into the Maffetone pace, some of you may not even know what the Maffetone pace is. Basically, it's a way of measuring to see if you are building your aerobic fitness, if you're building your aerobic fitness. And to be able to figure that out, this was a simple way that Dr. Phil Maffetone many years ago came up with his method. And it was taking 180 minus your age, and that would be the heart rate that you would run at for all of your runs, AKA zone 2 training. Now, there are some caveats with that. You may have to reduce even more from that, whether you're overweight, whether you're on medication, whether, you're recovering from injury, whether you're coming back from running. Like, there's a lot of other things. Or you can start to add on a couple of beats if you've progressed over the course of 2 years and you've gotten faster. Look, there's a lot of weird things when it comes to that. However, I have used that method for quite a while. It does work, but it can kind of be a little nuanced a little bit. But it does work, I know, because there goes the phone. God. Oh. Okay, let's go for a walk. So my Maffetone pace equals my aerobic fitness. Now that we've talked about how to calculate the heart rate that you're going to be running at, you can also look at this aspect.
Your MAF pace, or your average pace at your MAF heart rate, is your most honest progress report if you're using this method. Every month, I do a simple MAF test. Same route, same heart rate, same conditions. If my pace improves at the same low heart rate, my aerobic system is getting stronger. If it doesn't, it's only feedback. It's not failure. It just means something in my training or recovery needs a little bit of a tweak.
Metric number 2, which is your rate of heart rate drift. And you don't even need a fancy software to figure it out. So on a long run, compare your heart rate and your pace from the first half to the second half. It's pretty easy. And if your heart rate rises more than about 5 beats while the pace stays the same, then you're drifting. Your aerobic endurance still needs work. But when that drift shrinks over time, it's gold. It means your engine is becoming even more efficient. However, you do have to make sure that you're drinking, you have your electrolytes, it's not too hot outside. There's all like these things that you have to think about, because that also contributes to heart rate drift, other than just fitness. Metrics number is your weekly mileage, whether it's kilometers, whether it's miles. This third metric is weekly volume, or it could be just time on your feet. And this is the foundation. So don't obsess over daily numbers. I just look at my total for the week, right? And the goal, slow, steady, sustainably increases. I'd rather you or me run 40 kilometers every week for 6 months than spike to 70 and burn out. Like, I hate burning out. It's never a good feeling. It is cold out here today. Brr, I should have actually worn my long sleeve. Anyways, metrics number 4. This is something that I really had to learn, and this was perceived effort, right? It wasn't my favorite at the beginning, but I've come to grow with it. And so every run I asked myself this one question was, could I hold a conversation right now? And if the answer was yes, I'm in the right zone. If I'm gasping or thinking about stopping, I know I've drifted too far. You know, I've drifted too hard. And you don't need a watch to feel that. The body tells you everything if you're willing to listen. And in most cases, I wasn't there to listen. That was something that I have had to learn and relearn over the years. So I want to bring it together, okay? So here's the 4 systems. So here's the system of 4 numbers that give you the full picture. Your math pace for your aerobic power, your heart rate drift for endurance, weekly volume for consistency and mileage, and perceived effort for body awareness. Now, if you track these, you'll know exactly where your fitness is headed without drowning in all of the data, all of the noise. It can be a scary place to go when you're looking at your Garmin or you're in Coros, or for that matter, you could be on STRAVA. But STRAVA is a whole other topic because there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in that company. But when I simplified my training, my running stopped feeling like a test and started feeling like I had a little bit of freedom again. You know, I wasn't tied to this thing all the time, because at the end of the day, the body doesn't care about, you know, your stats, how much you collect. It doesn't care about your training and your recovery. It doesn't care about any of that stuff, right? It doesn't matter how many days you've run, how many days you haven't run. Look, you just got to trust the progress. Let the data work for you and not against you. If you've just found me for the first time, my name is David and I'm the plant-powered runner, and I've been using Zone 2 training, Maffetone method training for years now. I've run marathons, half marathons, 10K, and I'm just an average recreational runner, just trying to stay fit, healthy, and happy as I age. So if that's something that you can get into, maybe think about, you know, commenting, liking the video, subscribing if you haven't, because all these things really help, and you may never see this video again. There's a lot of other running related videos on my channel, a lot of different playlists. So if you're a runner, or even if you're not a runner and you're just starting out at the beginning, then a lot of these videos may help you. They may not help you. You may laugh at me, but you know what? It's all okay. It's my channel. I get to do what I want to do here. And if anyone wants to laugh along with me, cool. Either that or laugh with me. I want to come back to number 1. You could just figure out your heart rate zones and just use that instead of, you know, doing the Maffetone method, because you don't have to. They're kind of interchangeable in a way, maybe not 100%. Again, there's so many different ways to calculate all of your heart rate zones. So you have to find what works best for you, because we're not all the same, right? We're all different types of runners. We all believe different things. We have our own values. Different things work for different people. That's what makes humanity amazing. So, you know, this was just one of the things that I used for my Maffetone training. I think if you needed to look at the data on your watch, what I used the majority of the time was how long had I been running and what was my heart rate. Those were the 2 numbers that helped me the most. Obviously, you know, distance as well, because I'm like a creature of habit. I just have a particular run that I do, and it's always 10K, always 10K. And I just kind of got used to doing that. And I know that it would take me sometimes anywhere between, you know, 58 minutes when I was in really good shape, running in that, you know, my math zone, or it's, you know, like an hour and 11 minutes. Sometimes it was an hour and 14, maybe an hour and 8 minutes. It just kind of fluctuated. So the time on my feet And what was my heart rate? Those were good things. And if I had to do anything else, it would be distance, just to kind of know where I was. Those were some things that really, that's all I kind of looked at on my watch. That's what I would program it to show up. Nothing else. I didn't really care about anything else. Now, I did have a spreadsheet that I set up, and I found it like kind of overwhelming. It was like I had this paralysis of all of his data, and it was just like looking at me. And I know it meant something. I know that it could help me, but at that time that I was starting off, it was just too much to kind of take in all at once. So like I said, I just tried to really simplify all of it, bring it all down to just the bare basics, and make sure that I was able to go out and do that Maffetone test, maybe once a month. Sometimes I would do it twice a month because I'd start to obsess and I'd want to know where I was at. But as long as I saw improvement, time after time after time, sure, there'd be a couple of runs that were kind of crummy, but it's weather related. So on average, as I went, sure, you have to do it, at the same kind of, you try to do the test at the same time of day, the same type of conditions. And yeah, you can do that on a treadmill. It's inside. It's very easy to do because weather isn't an option or really isn't a factor. But if you're like me and you like to run outside all the time, then that does become a factor, and it can be kind of difficult at the end of the day. So that was one of the things that I noticed when I was using this method to improve, was just all about that. One of the exceptions that kind of drove me crazy with the Maffetone method in general was, having to reduce any beats if you were overweight, because that's one of those things that, I don't really to think, because everybody has a different healthy weight, and who decides who that healthy weight is? I know what my healthy weight is because I feel it, right? But if you get wrapped up in that number, it sucks. But if you go down that road and it says, if you're overweight, whatever it is, you got to reduce the beats by, by 5. But if you're on medication, you got to reduce it by 10, but you don't reduce it. It's either one or the other. So you don't do it, otherwise, seriously, you'd never run anything. Really, it comes down to build your aerobic base, go slow, probably have to start off walking most of the time. That's okay. But if you've been a runner, or if you are a runner and you're coming back from an injury and you find yourself in that position, you're like, yeah, screw that. I'm going to run. I'm just going to do my own thing. Hey, you do you. It's all good, right? Because everyone's different. It's just it's a funny thing, when you're starting to use this, heart rate numbers and age-related aspects of it. It's just difficult sometimes. It's what it is. And on that note, I think I got to get moving because my arms are freezing. Yeah, and I got like a little kind of tennis elbow thing going on there. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I'm just getting older. I need to tape myself up to keep myself together. Like I always say, get out and run. See you on the next one.